Man, it's saying slow connection on my end. It sucks. Man, wish I could increase my. Oh, hi, Kenneth. Nice to meet you.
What's up, my man? How's it going? How you doing
Oh,
tonight?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Good, man. Good, good. It's nice to see you, man.
Yeah,
Thanks
yeah,
for having
nice
me
to
on here.
see you. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I see your demos and stuff like that on Facebook occasionally and stuff. Hi, Elijah. Nice to meet you. And yeah, I just was very intrigued to, hear, your story as a fellow telekinetic. So I'm so grateful that I got to have you on my YouTube channel as well as Facebook today. So
Most definitely, man. We are very rare. There's not many of us, huh? So it's nice to be able to bump into each other like this.
oh yeah, certainly. Yeah, this certainly we're kind of the weirdos in the, in the spiritual niche as it is, but we're kind of definitely super weirdos from the, normal people's perspective.
most,
So yeah,
most
certainly.
definitely, most definitely, man. Well, guys, my name is Ken. I read energy and teach energy manipulation to thousands of people all over the world. I focus on interdimensional sciences and chakra mechanics. So one of the things I found a couple golden eggs in this place when it comes to understanding how to manipulate energy and how to move physical items. It starts off with understanding yourself on a deeper level, right? So now we head down a path where we start understanding ourself, our emotions, our thoughts, and we take that understanding and we use it to direct it outward through things like telekinesis, psychokinesis, things like that. So yeah, man, it's a beautiful thing to have stumbled upon in this place, man. It seems to be something that a lot of people knew how to do not too long in the past, a couple hundred years ago, and it seems like it's there was some place along the way where it was lost. So now we're at this place in humanity's history where we are rediscovering these ancient practices. It's interesting, man. It's a beautiful time to be doing this, you know.
Yeah. Yes, certainly. Well said. So Kenneth, let's just start with introducing yourself a little bit more. So, Kenneth, like, how long have you been doing energy work and stuff like that? And like, how did you get started in like energy work and how did your spiritual journey begin?
That's a great question, man. About 3 or 4 years ago, I was just at a broken place, a lost place in life. I wasn't happy with myself. I was confused. I didn't know who I was. I didn't understand this place very well. So it got to a point where I sat down and I really started breaking this place down like a shotgun. I'm a double Aquarius with a Scorpio moon, so we have a high tendency to overanalyze things in this place, right? So I began to start looking inward, and I reached a level where I understood that I had been holding on to a lot of pain inside of me from things that happened during my life. It just that everybody else goes through, right? These things that we think are insignificant, man, but they play a huge role in our energetic pattern, right? The decisions we make, the way we move through reality, right? So I was watching YouTube one day and I was scrolling and I just remember sitting there. I was like, man, I need some type of information. I need some type of golden egg. Where am I? What is this place? And man, I stumbled across a tarot video. I saw this girl shuffle the tarot cards, man. And as soon as I saw the card come out, like the way it popped out of the deck, I knew that I had found what I was looking for. So I started mastering tarot, man. I bought a couple decks and I began to read every single day. And then I started reading for other people. And tarot is the blueprint to the human psychology and the human experience. So when we understand the tarot, it's a deeper understanding of the way the mechanics behind how reality operates, right? When it comes to archetypal patterns or why people are the way they are, right? So, and in order for us to understand ourselves on a deeper level, we have to look at the people around us and analyze them as well, right? So it's through this analyzation, man, that once I began to work with the tarot, tarot teaches you how to see, hear, and feel energy in a completely new way, right? So I started there and I went to dice and all these different divination techniques and tools, man. And I got to a point where I've combined them all together. So I teach self-mastery through a couple forms of biohacking through biostacking. Biohacking is going into somebody's emotions or their thoughts or their actions and implementing some type of change, and whether that's through physical action or words, ideas, whatever that is. So as long as we're making a decision to do something different, that's how we change the system, right? There has to be change this process. So let's say we're talking about somebody dieting. There has to be a change in the choices that they make of type of fuel they put in the body, right? Right. So it's getting people to that point to where you're able to make a quantum jump in this place. So I teach people how to go from at a normal stage in life where most people are not happy, man. They hate their life. They're miserable. They have no direction or purpose in life, right? And through a couple processes of taking things from this practice, and putting a few different methods together, man, I've designed two of the most powerful healing techniques in the world. With holographic healing, it's a technique that I've designed for the past few years. I astral project my consciousness to wherever the client is in the world, and I begin to work on the light body, on the chakras, using biophotonics and a few other methods that I've designed. And when I'm doing this, you are gonna feel me working on you. Right? You're going to feel sensations in your body. You might feel heat, you might feel cold, you might feel pain, right? So just in that one action in session, we're doing a few things. We're proving astral travel is real. We're proving time travel is real, and that traveling at the speed of light is but a thought. It's just teaching ourselves how to plug in. How do I do this? It's the mechanics behind it that literally lay the blueprint for every psychic gift in the world, right? So that you can't perform psychic gifts if you don't understand how they work, right? So, and this is the part behind like things like telekinesis that a lot of people miss. There's a lot of practice that goes into these things, right? You've practiced for hours, right?
Me? Personally, yeah, I used to. Yeah,
Telekinesis.
now I don't do a whole lot of telekinesis anymore. But yeah, I mean, when I first started, it was like hours and hours a day. So yeah, I
It,
remember those days. Yeah.
a lot of dedication goes into it, man. So when I do the holographic healing sessions, it instantly opens all seven chakras at the same time. And when this happens, there's the Merkaba in the body, the light body activates, and you're able to access higher states of consciousness. Brings the root chakra balance, which is random fear, control in life, the way they make money. Right. So when we have an imbalance in the root chakra, it throws off every other aspect of your life. Right. So the chakra system is designed to be opened. And as you open these energy centers in your body, it's directly correlates to physical in your work or your work or your religion, whatever situation you're going on. Make these changes, it allows you to become something new. Right. It allows you to do something like an ego death, to where we break these old habits and cycles of decision and behavior that aren't benefiting us, but most people don't know how to do that. How do I implement that change, right? So that's one of the sessions. And then the psychic sessions, I mean, I cover every aspect of someone's life. There's a direct patterning when it comes to understanding and mapping consciousness, right? So once we begin to understand the basic fundamentals of consciousness and how the avatar operates, man, there's leaps and bounds that can be made when it comes to influencing both the emotions, the mind, or just physical objects in general. So through self mastery, man, we're able to unlock these doorways that have been locked to humanity for so long. We're able to get a deeper understanding of how do my thoughts work? Where are my thoughts coming from? How do I control my thoughts? Right. Same thing with the emotions. Once we learn to direct and channel these two things as the two most powerful forces that we have to work with, right? The next being the words that come out of people's mouth, right? So through self-reflection and mapping and making yourself into a place where we become perfect, right? We balance all these avenues and areas of our life so that we don't have to keep going through the same cycles of abuse over and over again, right? So when we're talking about making change and making progress in this place, I mean, that's how it's done, right? That this sends you on a completely different path than we were previously on, right? And so this is what leads to activating psychic gifts and abilities. So this is the work that I've been spending my life on. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, that was a wonderful explanation, Kenneth. Thank you for explaining your origins and like really going into energy work, explaining that stuff in like great detail. So, Kenneth, let's talk about telekinesis a little bit more. Like what type of telekinesis practices do you do? I see you doing like the what I like to call like the paper pushing or like the foil pushing type of stuff. um
Sure.
I used to play with psi wheels and stuff like that. Like, do you play mess with psi wheels there, or do you pretty much just stick to energy projection towards the paper and stuff like type of telekinesis? Like, could you explain that a little bit?
Most definitely, man. That's a great question. So, and this again is something we have to go back and revisit. Our words are sometimes don't explain the things we're trying to understand very well. So we have to go back and categorize what exactly is telekinesis, right? So telekinesis is defined by influencing or controlling an object with an unseen force. Right. So whether that force is magnetism, electric energy, or plasma, whatever that is, right? Or whether we're just manipulating light. So looking with things like that. So you're working with the physical energy that's coming out. What you talk about the psycho. So that would be psychokinesis. This is where we'd be moving the object with our without projecting, thinking about it, and, and telekinesis.
Yeah, I'd like to ask the audience real quick. Can you? It seems like Kenneth's connection is really bad on my end. Could you let us know how the internet connection is at the moment? I'm sorry, Kenneth. It seems like the internet
Okay.
connection was really bad at the
Yeah.
moment. Um,
I got 5 bars on my side.
maybe it's mine. Like, can you hear me okay by chance?
Yeah.
Or
I got you perfect, but the screen is freezing up a little bit.
it might be my internet then. Okay, okay. So I'm so sorry. My end was like really messed up internet wise. Like, could you explain the telekinesis concept one more time? I'm so sorry. Apologies.
No, no worries, man. No worries. So when we talk about telekinesis and understanding what is telekinesis, right? So I know when you see people moving objects, there are many different energies to be working with, right? In order to do that. So we're going to talk about telekinesis is defined by influencing an object, a physical object with an unseen force. Right. So the body is an electromagnetic vehicle. You have the ability inside of you to influence electric energy, which is hot, fire, and you also have the ability to work with magnetic energy. It's what fuels your entire body, your entire experience, right? So this is both positive and negative energy, right? Negative energy and again, this is feminine energy, and then the positive energy is considered masculine energy, right? So that's working, pushing energy out of the body in order to create a physical movement or a physical disruption for an energy field of any object, right? So this would be done through levitation or whatever that is. Now, when we're talking about things like using psi wheels, when we're just sitting there looking at the object and getting and influencing it, that's going to be psychokinesis. This is a whole other different kinesis. This is actually using your thoughts. This is the electric energy in your body. So this is going to be using electric energy of just the thought forms in order to manipulate that object. Right. And again, this is just something that people need to start practicing. You get better and better and better at it the more you practice. You get stronger by the day.
Yeah, well said. I mean, it's
Thank you.
not many people can like define the difference between like the psi wheel and like the energy projection type telekinesis and stuff like that. And I feel like you're the first person to really really explain the differences really well. So yeah, thank
Thank
you
you.
very much for that.
My
Another thing
pleasure.
that we as telekinetics often do is aerokinesis. I've seen you do some wonderful demos as well. Could you explain some of your aerokinesis experiences and some of the results that you had with that?
Sure, sure. That's a great question. So with aerokinesis or airbending, what a lot of people call airbending, this is where you step out into the element and you connect with the element and you're able to feel or think. People do it different ways. Think or feel your way into merging and connecting to the environment around you. So this can manipulate plant life. It can manipulate the rocks. In this case, we're talking about the magnetic energy of the air, right? So this is shifting the magnetic flow of current energy that's floating all around you, right? And this is again just done through feeling. You can influence through the magnetic energy through the heart, um, thinking the thoughts, and this is another way to connect with it. There's many ways to do it, so everybody kind of seems that can do it. They have their own way that they connect, right? So something I teach my students is that process is how to connect. How do I connect to the environment to influence it, right? And so, this is where you can not only influence air, but this is also the lightning, influencing the lightning itself, um, influencing the very darkness itself through things like shadow bending, right? Where we begin to bend darkness, right? So when we're talking about understanding psychic gifts and abilities, man, we're at a beautiful time. We're barely scratching the surface in our understanding of what are psychic gifts and abilities. How do I access them, and how far can I take them? How far will I want to be Magneto lifting a car, right? So and everybody does, right? So the thing that they missed out on was Magneto's origins, how he started out. He started out just like us, man, practicing just like this, It just gets stronger and stronger until what we're doing is we're increasing the magnetic flux, the magnetic field of our energy system. The stronger your field, the more you're able to manipulate all other objects, right? So just like anything else in life, if you want to master something, you got to practice with it, right?
Certainly, well said. Kenneth, you mentioned shadow bending. I don't really know what that is, and like I don't really have a whole lot of experiences with that. Like yeah. Could you explain that a little bit more in detail? Like can you actually like make the shadows like fluctuate or something?
That's a great question, man. So we have to go back and then we're going to redefine what shadows even are. All right. So, one of the things when we look out into the world to try to better understand ourselves, and especially psychic guests, we know that we've all been lied to about so many aspects of our life, right? So, if you go by what this place would tell you, this place would tell you that the element of ether doesn't exist and that it's called dark matter and they don't even know if it's real or not, right? The ether, it has not only been proven hundreds of years ago, but it's been embraced to power objects and fly cars. I mean, it's the core essence. It flows through all things, right? So the ether, this would be where the darkness, what they call dark matter, is just pure ether. So, and you're able again to plug into that ether. So let's say if I had a piece of tinfoil on a side wheel, I would be able to set it there, and the shadow that cast, I would be able to take my shadow and get the side wheel to move by not focusing on the side wheel itself, but just the shadow of the side wheel, and you can get it to move. And this
Interesting.
And then it's just scratching the. I mean, we're just talking about the very beginning. So think about somebody that starts practicing that after a couple of years. Imagine what they could do, right?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I never really thought of shadow as like a like an energy form type of thing itself. Like that's a very thought provoking idea that you gave me. Certainly, yeah, shadows are kind of like maybe like a certain type of aura. When you really think about it. Yeah, certainly. So Kenneth, let's talk a little bit more about aerokinesis and stuff like that. Do you have any experiences, um, like doing like hydrokinesis? That's another popular one, or like atmokinesis, where you erase clouds and things like that. Do you have any experiences with those things at all?
I do, man. If you can go through my Facebook page or my TikTok page, I've got lots of videos of making it lightning multiple times. I've got 20 or 30 different videos just from this last summer. So, and this again is what it's all about: learning how to plug into that energy, plugging into the electrical currents that surrounds all things. And then we begin to flux with our mind and with our energy, right? So this is another technique that I teach in my sessions. So whenever you're working on figuring out how to pulse, you can begin to make it lightning right when you want it to, right? So this is that all comes back to understanding, who are you? Where are we? Why did you come here? Right? So everything we've been told about this place is a lie. Right? So this is when we're trying to find our way, our path, or just to get stronger inside the mind or emotions, the more we begin to understand about reality, that's what gives you the power over it, right? So a lot of people would look at things like telekinesis, and the Christian nation or people that are really religious, they might call it witchcraft because they don't understand it. They don't understand how it works, the science behind it, right? The mechanics behind it, right? So Same thing when it comes to, future psychic gifts and abilities. That we're at an interesting time, man. About seems like about 4 years ago, there was the dial in this place was cranked up, and somebody cranked up a dial of consciousness, and there's a certain percentage of the population that started to. Sorry, I got a dog fight. You got him. Ooh. Sorry about that, man.
Oh no, you're fine.
Okay. So there's a certain percentage of the population that begin to ask deeper questions, to look at life different, and ask deeper questions and to understand themselves. And as they begin to do this, man, it's taken a lot of people to a place to where they're starting to activate. They're activating their chakras. They're getting control of their mind. What I need all you guys watching to understand is that there is another way for you to be living life. Right. Everyone you know walks around this place in a hellish realm of the mind, a constant blah, 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 all day, every day, right? There is an off switch. And that is what I teach in all my private sessions. So when I'm moving through my day, there are no thoughts that move through my mind at all, unless I choose to think the thoughts or if I choose to channel something right outside myself, working with different energies, right? So when we're able to get this type of kind of concentration and focus, your manifestation levels go through the roof, right? And when we're talking about getting an increase in energy to manipulate objects and everything around us, what we're looking for is we need more energy in the body. You have to. This is what the part of the training that comes with psychic gifts, training for psychic gifts, is you have to learn to bring energy into the body in order to even activate the chakras. Ask any reader out there; they'll tell you that when they're reading, it's exhausting. It drains you, right? So we have to bring more energy into the body in order to get access to higher states of awareness. Does that make sense?
Yeah, certainly. That's very well said.
Yeah.
So Kenneth, um, you mentioned that you do other things, like obviously you do tarot readings and things like that. Do you have any other experiences with other metaphysical abilities, such as like lucid dreaming? You mentioned astral projection earlier, so I guess you could do that already, but um like stuff like maybe like remote viewing, or like seeing without eyes and things like that. Do you have any experiences with those things at all?
Yeah, man. So one of the through my practice, I've been able to teach myself to reach a state of awareness called omnipresence. Right. This is where I can shift my consciousness to any time, point, in space, that just by thinking about it. Right. And not only can I shift it there, but I can also influence the physical reality itself. So if I've got a client that's in Germany, right? So when I'm using instant communication through light travel by using my photons and recreating an energy double, and ending up where she is in that very moment, right? So these are just some of the things that we're able to do, man. It's just through a little bit of practice and understanding about how this works. So the mechanics behind, especially things like crystals, right? When we look at crystals, crystals are an amplifier, right? It amplifies the signal, it amplifies the code, right? So when you're working with things like telekinesis, we can combine the energy with our body and use it with the crystals, and these things magnify the signal, right? So the more powerful that you can amplify the signal, the more you can hack the code and change yourself more, the stronger you get. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, certainly that makes perfect sense. So Kenneth, what is your ultimate goal in your spiritual quest? You know, uh, like you mentioned, like wanting to become like Magneto and stuff like that. Is there your goal to just become like X-Men, or is there something more like deep and meaningful like that you're pursuing? Like, could you explain that a little bit?
That's a great question, man. So the entire ascension process is about the unification of the masculine and the feminine energy, right? So as you master your thoughts and your emotions, there is a unification, a merging effect that takes place, right? So this is where we learn to blend both our masculine force and our feminine force together, so that the two become one. Right. When this happens, this creates a state of unity consciousness inside your being. Right. When this happens, man, it's going to push you in a direction of always connected. There's no disconnection. Everyone you know lives in a state of separation, and that their heart's pulling them in one way and their mind's pulling them in another. Right. And they don't feel connected to what is creating their entire reality, the subconscious mind, right? So most people miss that the body is the subconscious mind. This is the conscious mind. This is the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind, your body, is what's projecting your entire reality. Your subconscious mind knows all, sees through all dimensions in space and time. Once you plug into that, man, you get access to information in real time. Anything things that, what do you want to know? Is it gets to that point, right? So the biggest thing is having the time to practice with the information that you learn through this, right? So I'm not sure if there's necessarily an overall goal, man, but just to become as strong as possible, as fast as possible. You know what I'm saying? Just to be able to teach other people how to do the same thing.
That is beautiful. So you're obviously very big on like TikTok and stuff. As far as I know, am I correct on that? You have like about 20,000 followers on TikTok.
I do, yeah, man, I do. It's under Manifesting Tarot on TikTok.
Manifesting Tarot, beautiful.
Yeah.
So like, what is like your social media goals is concerned? Like, do you want to get to like 1 million followers? I know some of my some telekinetics have reached that point on TikTok. Like, like DWG and like Max Reader, they have like I think close to almost 1 million and stuff like that. Do you want to get to that point? Do you want to get like excuse me, get to like 1 million like followers on YouTube and stuff like that? What is your social media goals?
Man, what people don't see is when behind the scenes, whenever it takes you the time to edit the videos and then to market, it's a lot, man. It's a lot of time consuming, right? Especially posting a video every day or every 2 days. So, man, the pace I'm going at now, man, I'm getting all the clients that I need at the time that I can produce content, work with clients, manage my family life with my puppy life. So everything in our life is a balance. And anytime we tip those scales too far one way, our life is going to be unbalanced in some way, right? So creating the time and space to be able to do these things, man. But yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So
So
my dog
you're just
is
kind of
barking,
more or
man.
less looking for like a good balance and stuff like that. I'm
A
not really
balance.
worried about the
A balance, yeah, yeah, a balance, yes, sir, yes, a balance, yes.
yeah, that's wonderful. Yes, certainly balance is very important in life. I'm starting to, understand and learn that as well recently. So, yeah, okay. Well, um, Kenneth, what is your prediction for the near future? A lot of, changes are happening in the world. Trump is president and stuff, like a lot of, conspiracies are coming out and stuff like that. What is your prediction for the world? Like, do you think there's going to be like a major shift coming soon? Or do you think, it's just going to be the same old for the next decade or two? What are your thoughts?
Dude, that's a great question, man. I've spent a lot of time thinking about that and viewing that. So we all know that humanity is changing at an extremely rapid speed, right? As soon as they release new technology, it's rapidly advancing the way that we interact with the world, especially when we're talking about things like video gaming or just the way we consume content, right? So the next 10 years, man, we're going to see a huge shift in the way we interact with things like TikTok will be something of the past. We're going to advance a lot farther past that to where every person is both the actor in the video and also the watcher as well, right? So as we work with AI is going to be basically projecting the thoughts from your mind onto a screen, right? And you can imagine the possibilities, the directions that's going to take us, right? So it's going to redefine the way that we share information and share content. So I mean, look at where we're at 10 years ago, man. We've made a lot of progress when it comes to just understanding energy. Even the government even admitting that energy is, a mainstream way that we understand the body. I mean, marijuana has just gotten legalized for the first, just recent. I mean, come on, man. We live in barbaric times where the power structure has taken all the real information in this place and they have hid it from the population. So the beautiful thing for us is that we are at a new age of rediscovery to where the things that have been hidden from us are going to start coming to light because there's a lot of people starting to build, let's say, orgone generators and generating a lot of frequency and currency from them. So you're going to see a lot more people create some really interesting objects that put out free energy in so many different ways and varieties. it's a rediscovery phase, man, for us to not be able to rely on the system to give us information, but it makes us the scientists again, to where we go out and we start experimenting. What does it do when I wrap this full of copper and I push energy through it at an object? You know, whatever that is for you, you know.